Capcom continues their historic run taking over. Ken and Chun-Li are announced to be in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, not even too long after Terry was officially in Street Fighter 6. This could mean a potential Capcom versus SNK 3, or Capcom has something even bigger on the horizon. Fighting games need to take notice because Capcom has done everything that they potentially could when it comes to content for the fighting game community. What a blessing, man. Capcom has officially done it again. Massive announcement of Ken and Chun-Li going to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Now, if you know this channel, you know how much videos I made on Capcom just doing everything. Not only just that was happening in basically a day span, but I mean, we're going to talk about right now like how huge that is, but also they announced a Marvel vs. Capcom update. They got some patches. They got some online situations getting fixed up. Also, still, they're literally working on the game as if it's a game that just like got released. There's new games that where Capcom are making these types of announcements that, you know, like server issues and all that. Like when MK1 first came out, like there was a lot of server issues and like they were always trying to communicate. Well, not always. They're not the best at it, but they were communicating with us, like saying how they were trying to fix it. You know, Capcom is treating Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or the collection like if it's just, you know, a new game that just dropped and they're just trying to fix it all up like as it goes. But no, it's an old game where they're still working on it. They're in constant communication with patches and adding additional things where you can have like your favorite broken concepts that makes the game fun in totality. So Marvel vs. Capcom collection gets an update also. Then Street Fighter 6 also has some patch notes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that Capcom is just constantly rolling out on rotation. But of course, the mecca of it all of this video is the SNK perspective. Is just you know, the Fatal Fury. And if you know, Terry had officially gone into Street Fighter 6 not too long ago, and then within a few days they announced that Ken and Chun-Li are going to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Huge for the fighting game scenarios on what Capcom is doing. It is the best fighting era ever, at least for fighting games in the fighting game community. I know there's arcade era, but it is not talked about enough, this era of how good we have it if you enjoy fighting games. Fighting games are incredible, and I'm telling you right now, it's something that, you know, you could always hone yourself into when it comes to gaming. Today, I had a massive ranked session on Tekken, and I was just having a blast, you know, and it's just crazy because I have Tekken on rotation, I have Street Fighter on rotation, I have Mortal Kombat 1 on rotation, and these are all games that are just so enjoyable because it really makes it worth the time that you put into it as far as legacy type games. And Street Fighter 6 helping out, I wouldn't say helping out, right, because helping out is making it seem like SNK, which is like CVS basically. Like CVS 3 could technically happen. You know what I mean? I don't want to make it like clickbaity like that, but CVS 3 could happen. You know, Capcom versus SNK 3. I believe so, just due to that. I mean, they're not bringing them up from like the dead or anything, but it's an older game, right? You know, when you're thinking King of Fighters or you think of Fatal Fury, they're older games, and so very popular though. I mean, let's be real, in the competitive scene, of course. Unless you're like more casual, then you probably don't know about these games as much, but how monumental Capcom is at least moving forward and, you know, reliving or reviving, probably both, right? Bringing a foundational nostalgia factor, but also bringing back new content within this realm. It's something that's so unbeatable, and it's amazing. I'm a huge fan of what Capcom is doing in totality. Collections, content, collaborations, crossovers. You know, we don't know what type of, you know, maybe they might try something else even later. The only thing they haven't really tried is a massive guest character. I mean, I don't know if Capcom would go like the mainstream type guest character like Mortal Kombat does, but Capcom really, I mean, a guest character is Terry, which is huge. I just don't know, you know, how mainstream Capcom would want to try. Are they trying to get all the way to an MK, or do they notice that watering down the game that much probably won't be the smartest idea, and instead just invest into the competitive community and the casual fighting game community? See, MK1 or Mortal Kombat in totality has 3 pillars. It's your overall basic casual person or gamer, depending. And then there's your fighting game casual that kind of knows these games but just plays there for fun, whatever. And then there's your competitive. Well, MK1 has all those pillars just trying to make everyone satisfied, and at the end of the day is making really nobody satisfied because it's always mixed with MK1. Capcom is just bringing the casual fighting game player and the competitive fighting game player and trying to do really well with that, which they're excelling at, in my opinion. If you're kind of casual, I mean, obviously Street Fighter is far more known for competitive. It's the #1 competitive game. It's the fighting game of the year. It has the most basically people trying to just enroll in to compete, right? They have the most. They have more than Tekken 8 also. And so Capcom has always been known for that, though. But the fact that they are bringing it a little bit more casual is cool. I saw like some debates that PlayStation was posting also with like Justin Wong and Menard. And so they were like having that debate, and it was cool, man, because it's just cool to see how far can you actually push a quote-unquote niche gaming genre. I would say more of a community than just putting it in a genre, because it is, although very small, very big at the same time, like based on how information gets passed around with these games. But Capcom is just doing so great. It's such a legendary run, and we should all be excited for this, because when you have somebody like Ken and Chun-Li, the Ken and Terry lore everybody knows about, at least if you played these games for a long time. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but when you look at these, you're like, hell yeah, like this is what I want in my fighting games. It gave me chills when I saw the Marvel vs. Capcom like artwork collection. And I was like, damn, that's so cool. The way like Cyclops and Ryu are just like, I don't know, man. It's just something about that photo. It just looks cool because it has nostalgia mixed with like brand new. And it's the same thing with like Ken and Terry with the lore of this, like a potential CVS 3, or like just in totality, Ken and Chun-Li coming to Fatal Fury. It's just cool to see that. And it's cool to see like the background, the actual like the fundamental aspect and the foundational lore of it. That really helps out a game so much more. That helps an audience. At the end of the day, a lot of these characters do have, you know, attachments and emotional attachments to their fans. At least the other way around, like the fans, you know, really love them, right? You can think of Dragon Ball Z, like Vegeta. Like Vegeta's always very well loved and appreciated based on his character arc. And so like Ken and Terry, it has like character arcs and lore. It's beautiful. And so every character that you can name in games or anime or any type of shows, it's a lot of the times it's because it's like the arc or the development or just the overall history that a character can have with another character. And so Ken, it's so cool to see that. And I'm excited for Fatal Fury. I'm excited of what Capcom is doing. Not only is Capcom in their ultimate prime, but they are somebody who is carrying somebody else with them, at least for a while, until the game actually drops. Then when the game drops, maybe they'll help out with some more like mainstream collaboration, because Capcom is doing so much right now. Tekken 8 has taken a lot of steps also in trying to become mainstream, which is huge for fighting games. But Capcom seems like they're still staying in their like core fundamental aspect, while it's still bringing upon the casual, at least making casual fighting game players happy. Not necessarily full mainstream yet. I think Tekken 8 tried going full mainstream this game. They still are. Massive collaborations with what they're doing. But yeah, it's just going to be so cool, because for Capcom to be humble enough to like put them on and just do overall, they probably sat down at the table and they were just like, you know what, we're going to do like all these collaborations and we're just going to be down with that. All right, let's do this and let's bring this. We'll just do crossovers and collabs and partnerships up until your game drops, like, you know, depending on what devs were behind the scene on that. And it takes a lot to do that. There's a lot of people that are scarcity when it comes down to competition or other games, right? Like Capcom could have just been like, you know what, I'm not really down. Like y'all might take our audience. I'm not down, right? It's a 2D, it's a fighting game. It's history, CVS, of course. I don't know, like some licenses needed to get approved also. They could have easily been like that. Like Capcom could have been like, nah, we don't need to like get involved with y'all again, although we had history, right? Some people change up when stuff like that happens. So like for Capcom to be like, you know what, hell yeah, I'm down. Like y'all haven't really had anything in a long time. And we're like peaking like crazy, especially with Street Fighter 6 and with MVC Collection, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and, you know, updates, constant updates, rotating content that on a daily, basically. I see Street Fighter, I see Capcom in totality just posting like on a daily with Street Fighter and just everything, collections. And so like for them to just be like, you know what, I'm down. Let's, you were there with us not necessarily day one, but basically day one. Like you were with us day one. We're down to bring you up. And I think that's going to make people even myself, love Capcom even more, to like people who they really started with, especially when it comes to collabs and stuff like that. For them, I think it was like 20 years ago, right? Something like that. And for them to just be like, you know what, I'm down. Like for them to just extend their hand and be like, you know what, come on. Like since we need you to launch something and we're going to help you and we're in on this. We're going to do cross collabs. We're going to put your main characters, your most favorite character, Terry, in Street Fighter 6. And we're going to bring some of our beloved characters, which is Chun-Li and Ken, of course. Unless Ryu or Ken, but Ken has the better lore. And we're going to bring them upon with you. And so it is so damn good to be a fighting game enthusiast. I am so proud to be one right now. I'm so proud to be enjoying these games on rotation, the big three especially. I'm so glad to be able to witness these games this many years later, right? Because these fighting games go in the same, you know, and I mentioned Dragon Ball Z earlier, Dragon Ball. These go in the same echelon as that, right? Look at the legacy of like Pokemon. Look at the legacy of Dragon Ball Z. Look at the legacy now of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken. Like these are like Sonic, you know, just anything that really has a massive era of either games, cartoons, movies, whatever, maybe just branding in totality. These are a great list of things, and these are where these fighting games are now belonging because it's, you know, 20 years, right? It's like Madden with football games, you know. I wouldn't necessarily put, although 2K has been there forever too, I would, you know, just think of brands and longevity and the fact that we have 3 fighting games that have been doing that forever, and for Capcom to be like, you know what? We have this massive brand as Street Fighter, not just as Capcom, right? Because they are actually, you know, Capcom makes Street Fighter, of course. But Street Fighter, you know, the brand within that are just like, you know what? We're down, you know? And it's so cool to just be able to witness it. I'm so excited. So much content to share. And it's like, we don't know what they're going to share next because it was more of a teaser. And so I'm excited on what they're going to do next. But y'all got to be letting me know what's up. Updates, collections, content, and more. Capcom has set the best blueprint in the world when it comes to fighting games, and I can't wait to see what they're doing next, especially when they show like gameplay trailer of City of the Wolves with Ken and Chun-Li, man. But y'all let me know what's up. I appreciate y'all, man. Peace.